What's up, everybody? Welcome to the third episode of Free to Listen, a podcast about gaming and all other sorts of nerd culture. My name is Wilson. I'm also joined with Dan
Howdy up.
and John Boy.
Yep.
Now, as usual, we're going to start off with what we've been doing the previous week, what we've been playing. John, what have you been playing this past week?
I picked up two games on GOG this week. System Shock 2 came out. It was a pretty big deal. I never actually played it.
How's that going for you?
I'm not very far into it. It's really cool. I mean, I knew that BioShock was a spiritual successor to System Shock 2, but I mean, just playing through it, even for like the 2 hours I put into it, it's really, really apparent how much stuff they kind of transferred over to the BioShock series from System Shock. It's not a bad thing. I really enjoy it. It's kind of spooky. I mean, I love like science fiction, anything. So
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
playing that. I picked up Divinity 2, which is just like a Western RPG that I never played. It was on sale on GOG. I think it's still on sale throughout the weekend.
I remember hearing really good things about that, the Divinity series.
Yeah, it's got the version on sale on GOG is like the super developer director cut mega extra edition.
Of awesomeness.
Yeah, or it's something like that. It comes with basically like a developer like console mode. So you could play the game with this mode enabled. I haven't done it yet because I never played through the game, but it's just basically like a cheat menu.
Oh, sort of like the developer console for like Torchlight 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like bringing up the console in the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah, except yeah, you don't have to use like it's not just like a text window, it's an actual menu with like drop down boxes and all that
Oh.
good stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever seen a developer mode like that before, that they actually put in like a GUI interface.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I have, but it was actually a mod. It wasn't anything by the developer. It was by a third party that actually made the mod for for the interface.
Right.
But like Dan said, I've never seen anything that was actually through the developer.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. It was on sale, I think it was like $10 or something. It's been worth it so far. Apparently I haven't gotten far enough yet, but one of the crafting systems is you're basically like you craft as a necromancer and you get to customize your own like summonable minion. So I'm pretty excited to get to that.
Yeah, I downloaded Divinity 2 demo on Xbox when it first came out, and I was really interested, and I never really got around to actually picking it up. But I was always seemed like a pretty decent game.
Yeah, it's cool. The GOG version, like I said, comes with that developer mode. It also comes with an expansion pack that was released for it. So yeah, I've been playing those two, and then I've been playing through the Mass Effect series, and I got sick of the first one. So I found a save file online that was pretty much what I wanted to do with my game anyway. It was like my fourth time playing through the first one, so I just jumped to the second, and I'm so happy I decided to do it because the second one is, in my humble opinion, a nice improvement over the first. I really enjoy the action. I mean, I love my Western RPGs for sure, but I like the combat in Mass Effect 2 and in the third one. It's really satisfying. So
Yeah,
I've been playing through that as an engineer, which is fun.
yeah. I also saw on Steam you actually pre-ordered Brutal Legend, which is finally coming out for Steam.
I did. I never play. I don't know if you guys played that when that first
Oh,
came
did
out.
I play that game? That game is so good.
I remember seeing your gamer tag on Xbox with that on it for just ages.
It's such. I actually played through it on the PS3 as well, and like I said, it's a fantastic game. Everything that they come out with is just ridiculously good. It's well
Yeah.
crafted.
I mean, Tim Schafer's one of those guys that anything he touches just turns to gold.
Oh, definitely. I mean, look at Costume Quest, which was kind of like a wonky version of an RPG, but it was all pretty much Halloween based and kitty based, but it was still a
Yeah.
fantastic game.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier in the week, Wilson, and like that game was, you could argue it was over. It came out, it was like $15. It's not a long game, but like I thought it was so worth it. I really
I think I
enjoyed.
paid yes 15, and I think it took about 5-6 hours to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed the style and the the character that game had. It was really good.
Stacking was like an interesting type of game too, and that's all based on like Russian nesting dolls, where you can jump into another NPC and you'll get their abilities.
Oh, right.
Which, like I said, it's an interesting take on a game, but that was pretty good. I got that through PlayStation Plus, right around when it came out. I think like 2 months later it came out on PlayStation Plus as the free game, and I downloaded it and checked it out, and it was really worth checking out if you ever see it on, even if regular price, it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Brutal Legend, man. I mean, I remember playing the demo back when it came out, and I just never got around to picking it up. I'm really looking forward to playing it.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. I might even pick it up again.
but yeah, that's it for me. Dan, what have you been up to, man?
I actually made a purchase on GOG over the week too. I picked back up Zeus Master of Olympus, probably one of my favorite city building genre games. I absolutely loved it from Sierra back when I was in high school and city building genre was, still in and alive.
Yeah, I played city building games, and I've always been a big Age of Empires fan, and
See, with that, Age of Empires was more of an RTS. Zeus
Yeah.
actually had you manage everything, and to me, Zeus was probably the best one that came out. It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. It was so funny to see like all the little cartoon versions of the Greek gods walking around your city trying to convince you to worship them and different things like that. But it's a phenomenal game. It's $10 and it's a great buy if you love those old city building games but don't want to get into like the overcomplicatedness of some of the other ones. Like Caesar 3 could be a little bit more over the top with having to figure everything out, and Pharaoh. It's a very hard game to just pick up and play, but Zeus is very, very beginner friendly.
Have you played the Tropico series?
No, actually I haven't. That's another on my to-do list of retro games that I have to go back and take a look at, but I've heard nothing but good things about the Tropica series.
Yeah, same here, man. The
I
third
think,
one's on GOG.
I think 4 is on sale on Steam right now, for like maybe 25% off. I've always been kind of interested in the Tropico games because back in the day I used to play a lot of the city building games. I was a big SimCity fan, and I actually can't wait for the new one to come out. I'm definitely going to pick that up.
Really?
But yeah, oh yeah, I'm a huge SimCity fan. I'm actually mad at myself that I didn't pick up 4 when it was on the Steam winter sale for, I think it was like $5.
Yeah.
Again, that throws back to the age that we grew up in. Some of the original computer games I bet that you guys played were the original SimCities.
Oh, definitely. I had SimCity for the PS, or SimCity 2000 for the PS1, but I had the original SimCity for the Super Nintendo, and I spent years playing that game.
Dude, I had the original SimCity on the floppy disks.
Yeah.
There was like freaking 20 of those damn discs.
Oh God, yeah.
Back in the day. The other thing I've been tinkering around with this week, besides continuing playing Wasteland, is Terra went free to play over the last week or two, and I've been trying to slowly get back into the groove of playing it, and I don't know if I'm just getting burnt out of the MMO scene, but I have been having fun with Terra. It's getting to the point where I play so many different versions of all these MMOs that I have to constantly get back into the mindset, okay, these are the key bindings for this game, these are the key bindings for that game. I find myself hitting the wrong buttons because they're the buttons utilized in another MMO. And it's probably, pulling away from what would be a great experience for Terra, because everything I've seen so far of it, it's absolutely phenomenal. And the content, I mean, they've given all the content for free. There's no bullshit that, oh, well, you get to play for free, but you only get this if you pay this much a month, and then you can unlock this content for this much a month. No, the only thing that they have is the cash shop with the XP boosters and, like avatar. And there's not even that many avatar items out yet because the cash shop's still in its infancy. But they've really done a good job in just moving over, just kind of like Lineage and Aeon did, moving over into a good free-to-play model.
So it's more comparable to like Guild Wars 2 than say like the Old Republic in terms of the cash shop.
In terms of in terms of actually like I wouldn't actually, I mean, the comparison is there for the combat too, but it's even more action oriented than Guild Wars 2 is. I would say it's people make a lot of comparisons between Terra and Raiders. I remember, if you guys remember me, you know, doing the beta test for Raiders. But
Yeah, I attempted to do the beta test, but I just got
Same.
booted out every time.
I just didn't. I just couldn't
yeah,
get into it.
it was fun, but I mean, Terra's combat is more polished than Raiders was, and it definitely shows. And not to mention, I mean, the graphics are gorgeous. There's nothing else I could say about that. It's the best looking MMO I have ever seen, and it runs smooth. I mean, it boggles my mind how well that my rig runs that game when other games that are less technologically dependent always have hiccups and stutters and bugs and problems, but for some reason it just seems like the Terra was made to run smooth. I can't explain it. It runs off of the Unreal Engine. It's a gorgeous game. If you guys have never played it, you should definitely give it a try.
I downloaded the client for it. I just haven't actually done anything with it. I downloaded it the day it went free to play, and I am sort of interested to check it out. But the older I get, it seems, the less I can actually spend in MMOs. It just feels too tedious at this point.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that they did right is they gave you access to mounts at level 10.
Well, that's good.
Which is pretty nice because it cuts down on a lot of the time that you would spend early on in the levels having to grind up to get the mounts to save the time. But it's kind of funny. I bought the collector's edition of Terra when it was on special on sale at Best Buy. I found it was one of their last couple of copies. I got it for $20, and I never played it beyond the trial. But you get a special mount for buying the collector's edition. Well, because I bought the collector's edition, I was considered a quote-unquote founder. So when I came back for the free-to-play, I had the founder title, and anybody who had played Terra in the past before went free-to-play also got another free unique mount. So I have 2 free unique mounts in the game, and like I'm level 10 or level 11. Like I'm not even into the bulk of the content in the game, and I have 2 of the rarest mounts that you could get.
Nice.
Yeah, that is nice, and I like when companies do that. Like they did it with Star Wars when that went free to play, and even when you were in the beta with Star Wars, you got bonuses for being in the beta, like a title, as well as DC Universe Online. If you bought the game before it went free to play, you were always, even if you weren't paying like the monthly subscription, they have that tiered system where it's you're free to play, spend $5 a month in the cash shop, and you get that next tier of bonuses. If you physically bought the game when it came out, even if you were a free to play member, you actually were at that next tier up at all times, which I thought was really nice of them to do, especially because DC Universe Online was one of the fastest games to go free to play as a paid for MMO.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a fun game. I mean, you guys should definitely check it out if you got the time and got the urge to actually try one of those action MMOs. I know, Wilson, you were kind of okay but kind of burned on Wizardry, and I've played a little bit more of that this week too. But I mean, Terra, there's nothing like an actual AAA MMO, the polish of it, and then it going free to play and maintaining that same level of polish and dedication. And I mean, you can just tell when you're playing it that, the developers put in the time, put in the energy. It's got a server architecture that works. There's no loading problems, no hiccuping, no stuttering. It makes you want to play the game, and you have fun while playing the game.
Oh, I'm definitely planning on checking it out. It probably maybe after this week. I know there's some overtime days at my job this week, so I'm not going to be able to play as much this week as I have been. But I like I said, I've always been interested in Terra. Even when it first came out, it was always looked like a fantastic game, really polished, like you said. Just now that it's free to play, I'm going to give it a shot. It's just a matter of time when I actually do.
So how about you, Wilson? What have you been playing this week?
I've actually played a decent amount this week. I finished Dishonored. I finished Assassin's Creed 3. Both fantastic games. Last Saturday, while the podcast was uploading, I actually picked up Mark of the Ninja, which is made by the same developer as Shank and Shank 2. It's Koei. Has a nice stylized feel to it, but it's not that typical slasher action game. This one has a stealth aspect to it. It actually feels like a 2D side-scroller of like the old Tenchu games. Really fantastic game. I actually played through the campaign in one sitting on Saturday last week. And it's a $15 game on Steam, and it's still worth that $15. It took me about 7.5, 8 hours to play through the campaign, and it's definitely worth that, at least. And then I also picked up the Showdown Effect. It's still in beta right now, but if you pre-purchase it, you get instant access to the beta. The only way I can actually describe that is like 80s action movies meet something similar to Super Smash Bros. Or PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. A lot of fun. On top of that, some of the game modes are a little different than you would see in a normal like game like that. Like Smash doesn't really have a big team battle. It's 2-on-2, and you just have your pool of guys. Whereas their team battle is it's almost like a last man standing. Every time somebody on your team dies, the next person that dies, the respawn's about 5 seconds longer. And when the last person is alive, if they die before another person spawns, that's when the match ends. So
Cool.
yeah, it's a really neat concept. The match can essentially be pretty quick, or it can be really friggin' short. But it's definitely a game worth checking out. I know, John, you said you didn't look like you were too interested in it, but like I said, it's worth checking out if anybody's interested in like any kind of Smash. And it's really it's actually really skill based, because you use your mouse to target when you're using guns, but if you put the reticle over like past the character, it's not going to hit them, or before the character, it's not going to hit them. You have to actually be right on the character to actually shoot them. So it's not like, okay, I'm just going to point it this way and hope I'll hit something. You actually have to be precise with your actions. And then there's different tiers of melee weapons. Like there's certain melee weapons you can find throughout the map, where one can be like a one-hit kill, but it takes a lot to really attack with it, a lot of time. It's slower, so it's easier to dodge. Whereas you can find the faster ones, which takes us several hits to kill, but at the same time, it's really quick on attacking. So you gotta gauge how you like to play, really. Do you like the speed, or do you like the brute force? But I've been having a lot of fun with that. I probably put about 4 hours into the beta. And then, speaking of Tim Schafer, I started playing Psychonauts again, which I really hope they eventually make a sequel to that. That was another game I played on the PS2 a lot. I've been having a lot of fun with that, and then a little bit more Guild Wars 2 here and there. I actually just hit 80 on my second character, so I think it's going to be time for another break with that. But really, that's about it. It's been a busy week for me, but at the same time, I did get a lot of gaming in this week, like I said, with finishing Dishonored and Assassin's Creed 3, playing some new games, playing Guild Wars 2 some, going back and playing Psychonauts, but it's been a good week.